The violent tremors rocked the cockpit as Rix Varen fought to keep the ship from tearing apart. Crimson warning light strobed across the dash, painting his face in pulses of emergency red. The Wraith Runner, a beat-up smuggler's craft held together by more luck than metal, screamed in protest as it plunged toward an unknown world. "Hold it together, girl," Rix gritted through clenched teeth, his knuckles white as he wrestled the stick. Muscles coiled beneath his torn flight suit, his entire body strained against gravity's wrath. The external heat gauges blinked furiously, re-entry friction nearing lethal levels. Below, a swirl of lavender forests and cobalt lakes rushed upward like a dream gone wrong. This was never the plan. He hadn't even meant to be in this sector. A bad blind jumped through the crimson rift, a pack of Chiron raiders on his tail, and suddenly, boom, uncharted system. They were after the cash he'd snatched from the Targon vaults. Forbidden relics worth enough to buy his own moon. If he lived through this. Redirect auxiliary to the front shields, he barked to the onboard AI. Unable to comply. Core integrity failure. Navigation is offline. Life support at 18%. Great. Just fantastic. The ship clipped a ridge, bounced off a sapphire lake, then carved a violent scar across the forested shoreline before finally screeching to a stop. Silence. Smoke and coolant hissed from cracked panels. Rix dangled in the pilot harness, a thin cut leaking blood above his brow, matting his sandy hair to his temple. His breathing slowed. He checked the readouts. Hull compromised, engines fried, comms dead, but life support holding. Barely. He freed himself from the restraints, knees buckling momentarily before he steadied. The gear was limited, one energy pistol, a busted med kit, nutrient packs, and a portable scanner. The contraband was intact, miraculously. He strapped it into a satchel and made for the exit ramp. With a groan of metal, the hatch opened to reveal a world so surreal it stole his breath. Twin suns glowed in a hazy lilac sky, one massive and orange, the other small and electric blue. The air smelled like ozone and sweet bark, heavy with floral spice. "All right, nowhere," he muttered, stepping down into foreign soil. "Let's see what secrets you're hiding." The terrain was wild, glass-like plant stalks cracked beneath his boots as he trekked toward a ridge. The scanner chirped, no threats, but faint electromagnetic patterns. The higher he climbed, the clearer the layout became. Towering spiral trees reached for the sky. Off to the east, a vast field of glittering blue grass rippled in waves. Then he saw it. Nestled beyond the crystalline forest stood something too geometrically perfect to be natural. A pyramid. A structure that shimmered with a constantly shifting hue, refracting sunlight like a prism. Ancient. Massive. And completely alien. "What the hell," Rix muttered, zooming in with the scanner. Readings flared, unregistered energy spikes and harmonic frequencies he'd never seen. He wasn't alone. A soft beep warned of movement behind him. Instinctively, Rix drew his blaster and spun around, freezing as he saw her. She wasn't human. But she wasn't far off. Her skin shimmered in soft cerulean hues, subtly iridescent. Her hair was silver white, long and flowing like liquid metal in the wind. Her eyes were wide, almond-shaped, glowing faintly like starlight. And her form, clearly feminine, was wrapped in a suit that clung like it had been grown for her. "You crashed," she said, her voice fluid and accented in a way he couldn't place. "Are you injured?" Rix blinked. "You speak trade standard?" "I speak many tongues," she said with a faint smile. "I am Lyra. And you are, very far from home." Blaster lowered but still wary, Rix scanned her. No weapons. No lifeform readings that matched anything in his database. Just raw, fluctuating energy. She tilted her head, amused. "Your scanner won't make sense of me. It detects the resonance field. A biological trait unique to my species." Lyra stepped forward, elegant and unhurried. Her presence was warm, literally, and he could feel it even from a step away. Rix hesitated, torn between suspicion and fascination. "May I?" she asked, motioning to the scanner. Their fingers brushed. Her touch was warm silk and electricity all at once. The scanner went haywire. She studied it with casual curiosity. Crude, but functional. "You're not from the Empire, are you?" "Earth colony," Rix said carefully. "Outer fringe. Haven't called it home in years." "A wanderer," she mused. "Like me." Lyra turned, pointing toward the distant pyramid. "That structure is why I returned. It's known as the Temple of Renewal. It holds secrets from before the collapse. Secrets my people were never able to unlock. Until, maybe, now." The scanner lit up again. This time with proximity alerts. Rix glanced at it, then back to her. "It's responding to something." "Me?" "Your arrival coincided with the outer rings activating for the first time in over 1,000 cycles," Lyra replied. "The temple is waking up. And I believe it's because of you." Rix laughed, short and disbelieving. "Lady, I'm a smuggler, not some prophesied savior." "Maybe," she said softly. "Or maybe you're something more." She stepped closer, and the wind carried her scent, earthy, sharp, like spice and ion storms. Her eyes locked on his with startling intensity. "I can help you repair your ship," she said. "But first, will you come with me to the temple? It's calling to you, Rix Varen." His name. She shouldn't have known it. The answer hung in the silence between them, the pyramid glowing faintly on the horizon. Rix tightened his grip on the satchel and holstered his blaster. "All right, Lyra," he said. "Show me what your temple wants with me." Together, they turned and began the descent toward destiny. The walk across the shimmering blue plain felt like stepping through a dream. Crystalline grass shifted underfoot with a sound like chimes, and the twin suns slowly moved apart in the lavender sky. Lyra walked ahead of Rix, her movements fluid, each step light yet deliberate, as if her body danced to a rhythm only she could hear. Rix kept pace, his scanner held loosely in one hand, his eyes never straying too far from her. There was something magnetic about her, not just her impossible beauty, but her presence. It made his skin tingle. Made his thoughts wander. "You said the temple's been dormant for 1,000 cycles," he said, mostly to break the silence. "And it just decided to wake up when I showed up." Lyra didn't look back. "Not coincidence. Timing. Right. That thing you said about resonance fields?" "That's just part of it," she replied. "There's more. The legends say the Temple of Renewal would only open when one of the Forerunner line returned." "Forerunner?" Rix raised an eyebrow. "Sounds like myth." "We thought so too," she said, finally turning to glance at him. "Until the outer rings glowed when your ship entered orbit." He frowned. "You're saying I'm descended from aliens?" "Not aliens," Lyra said. "Explorers. Your people may have forgotten them, but mine remember. The Forerunners seeded worlds, guided evolution, built structures across the galaxy. This temple is one of their last remnants." He blinked, then looked up at the pyramid as they neared. It wasn't stone like it had first appeared. Its surface shimmered with a living metallic sheen, like liquid metal trapped in a frozen wave. It towered at least 300 meters into the sky, each side etched with glowing grooves and alien symbols. "Okay," Rix muttered. "Definitely not natural." They reached what seemed to be an entrance, a wide platform with symbols etched in spirals across its floor. With every step they took, the glowing lines pulsed brighter. Rix stopped at the base of the structure, staring up. The scanner in his hand emitted a steady tone, no threats, but massive energy surges. "You're sure it's safe?" he asked. Lyra nodded. "If the temple accepts you." And if it doesn't? She gave a small smile. Then we both vaporize. Comforting. The scanner beeped again. Rix noticed something etched into the stone beside the sealed door. Familiar symbols. Not alien at all. No way, he whispered, crouching. That's Sanskrit. Lyra knelt beside him, her expression somber. My ancestors called them the first symbols. Carvings left by the forerunners. But you recognize them? I've seen them before, Rix murmured. Old Earth language. Pre-diaspora. You're telling me these same symbols are on this alien rock? Yes, she whispered. And it means you're not just an outsider. His fingers hovered over the etched symbols. This is insane. Why would ancient humans be connected to this place? Lyra reached out, placing her hand beside his. Because your people didn't originate where you think. And perhaps, neither did mine. Rix's hand brushed against the panel. Suddenly, light flared along the grooves, pulsing outward from his touch. The ground beneath them vibrated as mechanisms deep within the structure came to life. With a hiss and a seismic groan, the massive door split down the center. The air shimmered inside, revealing a corridor bathed in blue light. You weren't kidding, Rix whispered, staring. It actually worked. Lyra's eyes widened in awe. You really are a forerunner. Before either could move, the scanner beeped urgently. Rix looked down. Ships. Multiple signatures entering the atmosphere. Crap, he muttered. The Chirons. They tracked me here. Lyra's face turned grim. They'll destroy the temple if they think it holds value. They don't think. They plunder. Rix stood and drew his blaster. We've got maybe 10 minutes before boots hit the ground. Inside, she said. Now. The temple might be able to shield us. They dashed inside just as the door groaned shut behind them. The corridor stretched ahead, lit by embedded strips of soft azure light. The air was warmer, infused with a subtle humming. Rix's scanner calmed instantly. No external signals. They were completely off the grid. Shielded, he confirmed. No way they can detect us in here. Lyra still had her hand in his, he hadn't noticed until then. Her grip was strong but gentle. Electric. He cleared his throat, but didn't pull away. You said your people tried to open this place for generations. She nodded. We couldn't. The temple only responds to specific DNA. Forerunner blood. We thought they were extinct. And now? Lyra looked up at him, something reverent in her eyes. Now we have hope. The corridor opened into a vast dome. The ceiling resembled a living planetarium, stars and nebulae swirling in impossible detail. In the center of the room stood a console. Holographic projections hovered above it, flickering through alien symbols. And there it was again, Sanskrit, mingling with alien script. You see it too? Lyra asked softly. Rix nodded. I think it wants to be read. He stepped forward, hand outstretched toward the interface. As his fingers touched the surface, the symbols morphed, alien and ancient Earth languages reorganizing into clean, readable English. Defense systems, Rix read aloud. Sentinel drones, perimeter shields, this thing is armed. Lyra approached beside him, her gaze full of wonder. The temple is accepting you. It's adapting to your mind. Feels like it's waking up in my head, he said, blinking. Like I'm plugged into a massive memory core. He looked back at her. We need to use this. If those pirates break in, they'll strip this place to pieces. Lyra placed her hand beside his on the console. Instantly, their connection deepened. Rix gasped as a flood of data surged into his mind, not just systems, but history. Memories. The Forerunners. The ancient war. The birth of this world. They were human, he breathed. The Forerunners. They weren't gods. Just explorers who got here long before either of our people. Lyra's voice was soft. They built the hearts. These temples. Not just to protect, but to guide. To heal. He turned toward her, breath caught in his throat. Her eyes glowed brighter now, her body outlined in the light of the console. The air between them felt charged, like lightning about to arc. The temple connected us, he said. It amplified us, Lyra corrected. We're in resonance. What does that mean? She stepped closer, their faces inches apart. It means we're not just compatible with the temple, but with each other. Rick swallowed. That's a lot to take in. It's destiny, Lyra whispered, touching his chest. The temple chose you. And through you, it chose us. In the silence that followed, something shifted between them. Not just attraction, alignment. A bond forming beneath the surface. Then let's see where this leads, he said. Together, they turned back to the console, hand in hand, hearts thudding in rhythm with the temple itself. The light deepened to a richer blue as the console before them pulsed in time with Rix's heartbeat. The longer he kept his hand on it, the more attuned he became. Systems whispered their functions in the back of his mind, defense grids, environmental regulators, communications protocols, and something more elusive, buried deeper, waiting for recognition. Outside the temple walls, the scanner showed the Chiron pirates descending, at least 3 vessels breaching the atmosphere, dispersing troop carriers toward the temple site. They weren't wasting time. They're coming in fast, Rix muttered, drawing up an external feed. 50 soldiers, heavy gear, drilling equipment. They think there's treasure in here. There is, Lyra said, calm but firm. Knowledge. Power. And now they smell it. Let's make sure they don't get it. He focused on the interface, pushing deeper. The symbols glided aside, revealing new options, weapon arrays, shield modulation, surveillance drones still intact despite the centuries. The pyramid hummed louder as it reawakened under his mental guidance. Sentinel drones activating, he announced. Around the exterior of the pyramid, hidden panels slid open with a hiss. Smooth metallic spheres emerged, hovered a moment, then split into segments, reconfiguring into insect-like machines with glowing blue optics. They dispersed quickly, surrounding the approaching pirate squads. Keep them back, Rix instructed, syncing with their targeting system. Non-lethal only. Show of force. The drones responded in perfect formation, zipping low through the blue grass and releasing focused sonic pulses that sent the Chirons diving for cover. Panic erupted in their ranks, blaster fire was exchanged, but the drones danced out of reach. They'll fall back for now, Rick said. But their commander isn't going to give up. Draven Morn, Lyra said, her eyes darkening. He leads the Chiron fleet. You know him. By reputation. He destroys temples. Desecrates history. He tried to recruit me once, Rix muttered. Didn't like my answer. Now he's here to take everything. Lyra stepped forward, her hand sliding beside his on the console. Their connection reignited like a live wire. The symbols changed again, no longer simple commands, but visions. Buried knowledge. Memories that weren't theirs. The pyramid showed them the past. They both gasped as a surge of images flowed through them. Towering cities of crystal, oceans teeming with bioluminescent creatures, and massive temples channeling light into the skies. Rick saw ancient humans arriving from distant stars, mingling with blue-skinned inhabitants who would become Lyra's ancestors. Together, they built Valoria's civilization under the Forerunner's guidance. Then came the Scourge. Darkness spread through the visions, creatures like living voids, feeding on energy and matter alike. Planets were devoured. The Forerunners fought back, desperate. And in their desperation, they created the hearts, living technologies designed to protect and regenerate entire worlds. The pyramids were their vessels. That's what this place is, Rix breathed. Not just a temple. A heart. A core system for the planet. And the Forerunners didn't just build it, Lyra said, her voice trembling. They stayed behind. Some of them became part of it. Part of us. Their hands tightened over the console. Energy flared between them, arcs of gold sparking from their fingertips. The pyramid's lights blazed, as if recognizing their unity. You're syncing with it, Lyra said, wonder in her voice. Fully. You are too, he replied. It's not just reacting to me. It's reacting to us. The console emitted a low hum and projected a holographic map. Deeper layers of the temple revealed themselves, and at the core was a pulsing sphere of energy. The heart of Valoria. It's alive, Rix whispered. And it wants us to come to it. They were interrupted by another tremor, this one strong enough to rattle the chamber walls. Chirons again, he muttered. Bringing in mining lasers. They'll breach the outer layers eventually, Lyra said. We need to move. Rix hesitated, scanning the interface. There's a stairwell that leads down. Spiral corridor. Takes us to the heart chamber. Lyra nodded. Then let's go. As they descended, the walls pulsed gently, as if breathing with them. Their bond intensified with every step, synchronized thoughts, shared emotions. Rix could feel her resolve, her hope, even flashes of her childhood memories. Lyra could feel his awe, his guarded optimism, and the thrill of discovering something larger than himself for the first time. The stairs opened into a chamber so vast, Rix had to stop in his tracks. The ceiling stretched high into a dome, filled with a perfect holographic replica of Valoria's night sky. Stars glimmered overhead. Below, the center of the room held the heart, an orb of liquid energy suspended over a pedestal, shifting in color from cobalt to emerald to gold. It's beautiful, he said. It's waiting, Lyra whispered. They approached slowly, reverently. The closer Rix got, the more the energy resonated with him, pulsing faster, brighter, matching the rhythm of his heartbeat. It's aware. Yes, Lyra said. And it remembers. The orb projected a new hologram, two figures standing side by side, one human, one Varillian, joined by a web of light connecting them to the heart. A ritual, she breathed. A shared guardianship. A binding. The meaning struck him immediately. This would make us permanent caretakers of this world. Lyra turned toward him, her expression serious. Once done, it can't be undone. It changes us. And we do it together. Only if our energies are aligned. Rix looked into her eyes. You really think this world can be saved? I think, she said, stepping closer, that it already started when you arrived. The heart pulsed brightly. Outside, the Chirons were setting up their final push. Inside, a choice awaited. Rix held out his hand. Then let's finish what we started. The chamber grew impossibly silent as Rix and Lyra approached the floating sphere of energy at the heart of the pyramid. Its pulsating glow radiated warmth, awareness, and something else, expectation. As if it had been waiting for them for a very long time. Rix's steps slowed as he stared into the swirling colors, blue and green threads curling inward like galaxies being born. He could feel it now, in his chest, humming beneath his skin. A presence, vast and ancient. Watching. Listening. Lyra stood beside him, her hand finding his without hesitation. Are you ready? She asked softly, her voice barely above a whisper. No, Rix admitted. But I'm here. A faint smile curved her lips. That's enough. As they reached the pedestal, the heart responded with a new glow, gold this time, shimmering like sunlight in deep water. A low hum filled the chamber, resonating in their bones. Around them, the lights dimmed, focusing all illumination on the pulsing orb between them. "This is the first step of the binding," Lyra said, echoing what the pyramid had shown them. "The physical alignment. A ritual not just of energy, but of union." "You mean," Rix began, eyes flicking up to hers. "We need to." "Yes," she said simply, her gaze steady. "The Forerunners designed it that way. A merging of essence. Body first. Then mind. Then soul." A beat of silence passed between them. "I'm not exactly experienced in alien bonding rituals," he said, tone light, covering nerves. She stepped closer, until her body was nearly touching his. "You're doing fine." Her hand reached up to his face, fingertips trailing along his jaw. The temple seemed to breathe with them, lights dimming further, cocooning them in a soft aurora of blue and gold. "You really want this?" Rix asked, brushing a lock of silver hair behind her ear. "You barely know me." Lyra's voice was firm. "I know your heartbeat. I've felt your thoughts. I know you're exactly who this world needs." The distance between them vanished. Their lips met, slow at first, testing, then deeper, hungrier. The heart's glow intensified, casting luminous tendrils of light that wrapped around them like silk. Clothing slipped away between breaths, their bodies drawn together not with urgency, but purpose. The pedestal shifted subtly beneath them, reshaping itself into a cradle of light and energy. The floor beneath them warmed, supporting them, responding to every movement. And as they came together, their bond fused not just flesh, but frequency. Every heartbeat synced. Every breath became one. Rix had known intimacy before, but nothing like this. This was surrender and power all at once. The touch of Lyra's skin was like starlight and fire, and when their eyes met mid-union, it felt like the universe paused to witness their connection. Above them, the projected stars glowed brighter. Around them, the temple responded with harmonic waves that echoed outward, invisible but felt. Through stone, through the grass plains, even reaching the Chiron ship still attempting to breach the structure's outer walls. They felt the change, though they didn't know what it meant. As the final pulse of energy surged through them, the heart swelled with light, then released it in a single, silent burst. The chamber quieted. They lay together in the glow, their bodies wrapped in a warm cocoon of golden energy. Rix could feel her thoughts, flickering images, memories, emotions. Joy. Peace. Relief. He knew she felt his too, awe, wonder, and something he hadn't dared name before, belonging. "I can hear you," she whispered. "I know," he replied, brushing her cheek. "And I can hear you too." She sat up slowly, her bare skin glowing faintly in the low light. That was only the beginning. He nodded, sitting beside her. "I feel it. Something's changed." They dressed in silence, though it no longer felt necessary. The bond they now shared transcended modesty or formality. Their hands brushed often, not by accident, but instinct. Every touch sparked recognition, every glance reaffirmed connection. When they stood again before the heart, it projected a new hologram, one of them, entwined in light, surrounded by the ancient symbols of guardianship. Their energies had merged with the artifact. The ritual was complete. "This is what the temple wanted," Lyra said. "And now?" Rix asked, eyes narrowing. "We face the Chirons." A low vibration passed through the floor beneath their feet. "They've breached the outer trench," Lyra confirmed. "Draven Morn is deploying his elite unit." Rix clenched his jaw. "Then we make our stand." He placed his palm against the pedestal, and this time, the heart responded instantly. The temple's control systems unfolded like a galaxy blooming into clarity. He could feel every wall, every drone, every energy field as if it were an extension of his body. Lyra joined him at the interface, her presence strengthening the connection. Side by side, they activated defense protocols, ancient systems designed to protect the temple at all costs. Outside, the drones repositioned in lethal formations. Energy shields flickered to life, creating shimmering barriers of light across every entrance. The temple's apex glowed like a beacon, broadcasting waves of harmonic energy that disrupted Chiron systems. Draven's forces charged, firing EMP rifles and plasma bursts. The temple's drones responded with precision, blasters set to stun, taking down soldiers non-lethally. Rix coordinated their formations without speaking, moving them like chess pieces through a mental link. But Draven was smarter than most. He sent in heavy assault tanks, old Terran military models converted for siege. "They'll punch through eventually," Rix said grimly. "We need a better play." Lyra's eyes flared with sudden inspiration. The heart can emit focused disruption waves, temporarily disable all systems in a radius. Will it harm them? No. Just neutralize tech. Rix hesitated, then nodded. Do it. Together, they triggered the pulse. A golden wave erupted from the pyramid's apex, washing across the battlefield like a tidal wave of silence. The Chiron machines dropped. Engines sputtered. Weapons died. Soldiers stumbled in confusion, looking around in disbelief. From the temple's command view, Rix watched Draven's flagship list sideways and fall limp. "We've got maybe 2 hours before they reboot," he said. Lyra stepped forward. "Then let's use that time." She activated the long-range communications relay, now humming with power from the heart. A beacon shot into orbit, one encoded with Virelian diplomatic frequencies. "Backup?" Rix asked. "My people. Scattered colonies. If they're listening, they'll come." He nodded. "Good. Because this world's about to change." Above them, the stars pulsed brighter in the temple's projection, like eyes finally opening. And somewhere in the distance, ships were beginning to move. The projection above them shimmered with new signals, blips of incoming vessels moving toward Virelia. Rix narrowed his eyes at the readout, watching the trajectories. They weren't Chiron signatures. They were sleeker, more advanced. Graceful even. "Those aren't pirates," he said, shifting his gaze toward Lyra. "That's your people." Lyra nodded slowly, her expression softening. "Yes. Virelian fleet. My distress signal reached them." "How many ships?" "At least a dozen," she replied. "And more will come. We've been waiting generations for the heart to reawaken." Before either of them could speak further, a new alert lit up the interface. Draven's flagship was stirring. Even through the pulse, some of his tech had survived. Emergency power was rebooting. "Looks like Draven doesn't know how to take a hint," Rix muttered. "He'll try again," Lyra said. "The pirates came here for loot, but Draven sees power. Something ancient he can twist to his own use. Then he's about to be very disappointed." Outside the temple, the pirate forces were scrambling to regroup. The disruption pulse had dropped them, but now a new panic was setting in as they realized they weren't alone anymore. High above, the silver silhouettes of the Virelian fleet were descending, casting long shadows across the glowing plains. In the temple's control chamber, a hologram flared to life, an incoming transmission. A tall Virelian male appeared, his uniform edged in crystalline patterns, eyes glowing the same silver hue as Lyra's. He saluted briefly before speaking in his native tongue. Lyra stepped forward. "Commander Saren. I am Guardian Lyra, and this is Rix Varen. The temple has been activated." The commander's brow lifted. "You found the Forerunner?" "More than found," Rix said, stepping into view. "We bonded with the heart. We are co-guardians now." There was a moment of visible surprise on Saren's face, but he didn't challenge it. "Then you'll both need to assist in what comes next. The pirate fleet has been partially disabled, but we're detecting backup ships entering the system." Rix grimaced. "Draven's calling in favors. No doubt. He won't stop until he's either captured this temple or destroyed it. Then he's about to have a very bad day, Rick said, turning back to the console. He activated new defensive configurations, previously locked subsystems that were now accessible thanks to their bond with the heart. A new ring of sentinel drones deployed from below the surface of the pyramid, rising silently like metal wraiths. These ones were different, sleeker, faster, and far more heavily armed. Lyra glanced at him with a flicker of concern. "You're not going to kill them?" "No," Rick said firmly. "I've been a thief, not a murderer. We disable. We don't destroy. Even pirates deserve the chance to turn things around." She smiled softly at that. "You're a rare kind of smuggler, HFY. He shrugged. "I just like sleeping at night." The Virilian ships began sweeping across the plains in elegant arcs, deploying support teams and portable field domes to begin establishing control zones. Some of the pirates dropped weapons and surrendered immediately. Others resisted. Draven, of course, was not among the ones giving up. "His ship's got partial shields," Rick said, zooming in on the hulking mass of dark metal buried near the tree line. "We take that down, the rest follow." Lyra nodded. "We'll need precision." They joined hands again, and the temple responded. A new interface unfolded, larger and more intricate than the ones before. It showed not just systems, but possibilities. Scenarios. Calculated outcomes. Together, they shaped the energy into a focused beam, no explosion, no fire, just a quiet unweaving of energy that pierced the flagship's shield generator. Like a whisper through armor. The shields dropped instantly. On cue, the sentinel drones surrounded the ship. They hovered like vultures, weapons humming with potential. Inside the command vessel, chaos erupted. Rix could feel it through the heart sensors: panic, rage, and finally, resignation. "Let's end this," he said. He opened a direct audio line to the flagship. "Draven," he said, voice firm and clear. "You're outgunned, outclassed, and out of luck. Stand down, and no one gets hurt." There was silence. Then a low growl echoed back. "HFY. Didn't think you had the spine to come out from under your rock." "Funny," Rix replied. "I was about to say the same about you." "You have no idea what this place is," Draven hissed. "That temple could make us gods." Rix's reply was quiet, resolute. "It's not meant for greed. It's meant for healing. And it's not yours." A long pause. Then Draven spat, "You'll regret crossing me." The transmission cut. "Prepare the heart," Lyra said quickly. "He's not going quietly." Outside, the flagship's cannons rotated toward the pyramid, charging with crackling red energy. But before the first blast could fire, Rix activated the temple's harmonic shield, a golden dome that shimmered with layered light, absorbing the impact with zero distortion. "No effect," he said. "And now? Now we return the message." Lyra raised her hand, energy gathering between her fingers. The heart surged in response. From the tip of the pyramid, a single pulse of light erupted, blinding, but silent. It hit the flagship like a ripple through still water. The engines died. The weapons vanished. Even the lights aboard the ship flickered out. Draven Morn was finally silent. "All systems offline," Rix confirmed. "No fatalities. Just a long nap." The Virilian fleet moved in. Within minutes, the pirates were detained, some cuffed, some merely seated and given water. The temple fed live updates to the control room: no resistance, no sabotage. The threat had passed. In the aftermath, Lyra and Rick stood on the pyramid's platform, watching a dozen blue-skinned Virilians work alongside surrendered pirates, setting up medical stations and structural supports. The beginnings of something new. "I didn't expect them to cooperate so quickly," Rick said, folding his arms. They were just lost, Lyra replied. Now they have direction. A gentle wind passed between them, rustling the crystalline grass. Far above, Virelia's moons began to rise. Twin crescents casting silver light across the temple's shimmering surface. And what about you? She asked quietly. What happens next? Rix turned to face her. This planet, this place, it's part of me now. Her eyes searched his, hopeful. I'm not going anywhere, he said. We've only just begun.